I once came across a quote in a book. With one truth you can silence 50 philosophers, but with 50 truths you cannot silence one fool. This single sentence, in a way, defines the age we live in. Because when critical thinking is ignored, stupidity becomes inevitable within society. And today, we are living in exactly such a time. Everyone believes their own opinions are true, and that everyone else is wrong. Voices drown out reason, and emotions grow stronger than evidence. But the real question we should be asking is this. Why is this happening? Why is critical thinking being dismissed so easily? To understand this, we first need to take a step back in time. When did critical thinking first emerge? And what does critical interpretation actually mean? Because thinking a lot is one thing, but thinking critically is something completely different. Critical interpretation means questioning assumptions, seeking evidence, and using the mind as a guide before believing in something. In short, it is the art of thinking carefully, so that neither others nor your own mind can deceive you. This way of thinking is not new. Its roots go back 2,500 years, all the way to ancient Greece. Socrates was the first philosopher who truly taught society how to think and interpret deeply. He didn't just give answers, he taught people to ask questions. Today, we call this the Socratic method. By asking difficult and uncomfortable questions, he challenged what people thought they knew. And he reminded us of a simple but profound truth. The only thing I know is that I know nothing. This statement is the foundation of critical interpretation. Because true wisdom begins with admitting that you do not yet understand. But Socrates died for teaching this very idea. In 399 BCE, he was accused of corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods. His free thinking disturbed the comfort of the people. And in the end, he was sentenced to death. After him, Plato and Aristotle carried this intellectual movement forward. Centuries later, during the Enlightenment, Kant told humanity, "Sapere aude, dare to use your own mind." Voltaire and other philosophers followed the same path, challenging dogmas. They saw human reason and inquiry as the first steps toward progress. Once upon a time, critical interpretation was a mark of wisdom, a sign of an educated mind. It wasn't just about being knowledgeable, but about questioning that knowledge. But today, things have changed drastically. Now, every answer seems to be just one step away. It feels as though all the philosophers of history are sitting beside us. Yet in truth, we don't possess their wisdom, only the shadow of their knowledge. Because our minds were never built to absorb and interpret so much information. Psychologists call this information overload. Information comes at us so fast that there's no time left to think. And so, we start taking shortcuts. For example, if someone asks you, "What's 45 plus 93, most people no longer reach for pen and paper, their hands go straight to their phones. It feels easier, yes, but over time it weakens our minds. The Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman spoke of two systems of thought. One is fast and emotional, the other is slow and rational. Critical interpretation happens in that second, slower system. But as technology thinks for us, that mental muscle stops working. Just as an unused muscle weakens, an unused mind loses its ability to see clearly. Today, many people no longer remember the answer itself, only where to find it. That's why some philosophers call this the Google effect. We have handed over our intelligence to machines. We skim headlines, trust the first popular result, and move on. The result, mental laziness. Our world moves so fast that there's no time left for reflection. Deep ideas have been replaced by short videos, and serious analysis by catchy headlines. The Socratic habit of asking why has been defeated by the culture of Google it and forget it. The abundance of information gives us the illusion of knowing everything, but in truth, it only weakens our thinking muscles. And in that silence, critical interpretation quietly dies. But this isn't just about information overload. Something even more dangerous is happening. We only want to hear what we already believe. Social media algorithms surround us with ideas similar to our own. The more we like, the more similar content we see. Eventually, we live inside our own mental chambers, hearing only the voices of those who think like us. After a while, we lose tolerance for those who think differently. If you defend A, you'll rarely ever encounter someone who says, not A. The mind grows dull. We stop asking, is this really true, and start saying, this is just what we believe. This leads to what we call confirmation bias, accepting only what fits our beliefs, and ignoring everything else. And this isn't limited to conspiracy theorists. Even people who see themselves as rational, skeptical, or realistic can build their own mental echo chambers. Inside these rooms, ideas go unquestioned. Questioning becomes betrayal. In the end, everyone stays loyal to their own mental tribe, but blind to the truth. Yet the essence of critical interpretation is to put truth above comfort. To search for what's real, even when it's hard. But today, there's another force that makes that difficult: sensationalism. Modern media, news outlets, social platforms, even content creators, all share a common weapon: drama. Because the fastest way to grab attention is through exaggeration. News is written not to inform, but to make you click. You won't believe this, or everything will collapse unless you act now. Always the same kind of headlines. Even honest people sometimes play the same game without realizing it. Because without dramatizing, no one listens. But this comes at a cost. Constant crises, endless fear, endless anger. And eventually, people stop trusting anything. Nothing feels true anymore, because everything feels exaggerated. The result? A society that's always on edge, always anxious, but never thinking deeply. We click, we share, we rage, but we don't pause to reflect. Critical interpretation cannot survive in such an environment, because it requires slowing down, staying calm, and questioning. Yet we live in a world of now, urgent, and immediate. So, how can we change this? How can we learn to think again? Here are a few simple but powerful steps. 1. Be curious. Curiosity is the antidote to a weakening mind. Even Einstein once said, "I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious." Curious people don't stop at the first answer, they keep asking, why? When you learn something new, don't just believe it, ask yourself, what's the evidence? What's the source? What if the opposite were true? Remember, good thinking starts with good questions. 2. Slow down. In this age of speed, learn to pause. When you read something, don't just skim the headline, read it fully. Check the source. If you're thinking about a complex issue, put your phone away. True analysis happens in slow thought. As Kahneman said, slow thinking is the mind's strongest muscle. 3. Read from different sources. Step outside your shadow room. Don't just listen to those who agree with you, seek out those who challenge you. Read different newspapers, different cultures, even opposing writers. Question your own beliefs. What if this isn't true? Don't be afraid of that question. 4. Rethink education and leadership. Schools should teach questioning instead of memorization. Philosophy, logic, and debate should be taught from an early age. Adults, too, should keep learning and reflecting. Leaders must share not just their conclusions but their reasoning. Because questioning is not weakness, it's strength. 5. Test your assumptions every day. Ask yourself, what if this isn't true? Challenge your own thoughts in small ways. Try to explain an idea to someone. If you can't, you haven't fully understood it. This pushes you to think deeper. Remember, skepticism is not cynicism. It's the courage to seek truth. In the end, critical thinking is the art of switching life from autopilot to manual. It's choosing to question instead of blindly accept, to think instead of just react. And as Socrates reminded us over 2,000 years ago, the unexamined life is not worth living.